Today we're going to do one of my favorite books, a novel, J.D. Salinger's Catcher in the Rye. What a strange title, but I'll explain the title as we go along. The book appeared in about 1950, and it's wonderful. It raises some interesting questions too, because as you'll see, this is not a novel about ideas. And I think you can safely say that American literature, now I am not an expert on American literature. I know more about French literature than I know about American literature, maybe. And British, and I'm not an expert on any literature. I'm too widespread. So what I have tried to do is acquaint myself with the best in each literature, but that leaves a lot unread that I will never read, have no interest in reading, especially novels. And I don't have a very high opinion of the novel, frankly. But so I'm a special case, and my opinions have perhaps limited value for many people. But Catcher in the Rye is wonderful, but no idea. In fact, it's remarkable. It's a great book that has not a single idea in it, I think. There are others. Gatsby is a little bit that way too. And again, it's possible that American literature has no great ideas. It's possible that America has no great ideas. What have our contributions to the world of intellect been? And ours is kind of question mark, because our best are often the immigrants. A land of immigrants, after all, we are. And if the immigrant came as an adult already, I wonder if we Americans can claim that person's ideas, like Tillich, for example. Tillich, an American? No, come on. Although he spent more than half of his life, I think, in the States. Anyway, back to Catcher in the Rye. Wonderful book. The central character is Holden Caulfield. Holden, H-O-L-D-E-N. Caulfield, C-A-U-L-F-I-E-L-D. He's 16 years old, and the action of the novel takes place over one extended weekend, from Friday to Monday, just before Christmas. Holden has flunked out, important expression, flunked out of his 5th private school. What a bad kid. Right? And I think Koreans especially are likely to say, what a bad kid. And enough Americans used to say, what a bad kid. He's the narrator. He tells the story about what happened during that extended 4-day weekend. And he uses, especially for 1950, he uses some pretty colorful language. More reason for people to say, what a bad kid. Holden is a great kid. Okay, it's a very emotional book. It's pure emotion almost. So I'm going to have a hard time restraining myself. And I really love the book too. I go so far, I judge people by their response to that book. Now you can say that about any work really that one loves. But I judge people by their response to Catcher in the Rye. If the person doesn't like that book, either they're lying, this is possible, or something is seriously lacking, in my opinion. Now, that person can say anyone who likes that book is insane, in his opinion, and there we are. We've got opinions. But I will tell you that that's my opinion. Okay. Now, and he tells about his taking leave of various people at the Wooten School, I think it is. All these schools are within 150 miles of New York City. His parents live in New York City, and I better say right away, Holden has one older brother named D.B., yep, and he's out in Hollywood writing for movies, and is already pretty successful. But Holden affects to scorn D.B. a little bit for this. D.B. has sold out. Okay. a younger brother, Ali, but Ali died. Ali died how long ago? 2 years? 3 years? I don't remember. He died of leukemia, I think, and Holden's inability to deal, I would say, Holden's inability to deal with Ali's death is perhaps the core of the book. Ali is mentioned from time to time, memories of Ali. We have a pretty good idea who Ali was. And Phoebe. Phoebe's the youngest of them all. Phoebe now is maybe 11 years old. Salinger is the master of depicting children. I don't think it's possible to depict children better than Salinger does. Salinger captures innocence, curiosity, energy, vitality, God, this is early. So perfectly. Okay, on with the story. He takes leave. Holden takes leave at the beginning. He has to go over to the home. They're on vacation now. Vacation has just begun. Go to the home of his history teacher. I forget his name. Doesn't matter. And Holden goes over there a little reluctantly. He likes the man, but the man is sick, in bed with a cold. The man is elderly, maybe at least 70 maybe. But Holden has been over there before. And the man has been good to Holden. So Holden and requested that Holden come over and say goodbye. So he goes. And the man predictably starts lecturing Holden. First, Mrs. lets him in, lets Holden in, and she's nice and kind. Oh, Holden, so good to see you. We will miss you so much, blah, blah, blah. All of this very nice. Holden well-mannered, generally. Let's get to the heart a little bit of the problem. I think the problem that some people have with Holden is that Holden is extraordinarily sensitive to phoniness. P-H-O-N-I-N-E-S-S, I guess. People who are phonies. Phony means insincere, affected, pretentious, putting on airs, vain, just putting on an act. Holden is very sensitive to that. And one's reaction to Holden will have to depend, really, on, one, accepting that Holden is a good judge of these things, two, accepting his judgments of people and things. In my opinion, and I think in the opinion of most people, because it's a very popular book after all, Holden is always right. If Holden says something or someone is phony, he's always right. And he will explain how. And every time, he's right. If a person doesn't accept that, the person will have trouble with Holden. But in my opinion, the person who doesn't accept that is blind. Refuses to accept what is obviously true. And I think most readers will say that too. Okay, so the history teacher. Holden is kind of disgusted because the man's robe is open, his chest is showing, he's got Vicks vapor rubber, some medication on his chest, and Holden finds the man kind of physically repulsive. And that's a little unfortunate, I guess, but I'm not so sure you can blame him. 16-year-old boy. The man should show more delicacy, I think, toward this boy. And then he starts lecturing him on, you have to become serious, you have to become responsible, you have to become, as Koreans would say, diligent. um, and hardworking, and get good grades and stay in school, and maybe stop wasting your father's money, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so Holden endures this lecture and then leaves. Bye. We see Holden's reaction to he goes over to the football stadium and he stands far above. Oh, there's a game going on. Football, maybe? I don't know. Let's say football. And he stands, he doesn't enter the field area so much, but stands on the hill overlooking it. And talks briefly, I think, with the girl who is the daughter of the headmaster. Well, this girl is unattractive. Probably obese and unattractive. Holden talks with her. Holden kind of likes her. Not sexually or something. And this is Holden. Holden is decent and kind, often, to people whom idiots treat as wangta or outcasts. That's where Holden is too. So, and that's why Holden deserves respect. Holden deserves respect. Or another way to say it is, Holden is a good guy, a good kid, a real good kid. Very intelligent, very intelligent. Holden, by the way, is about 6'5". What, almost 190, 188 centimeters in height. He's tall and very thin. He grew immensely in a short time. Oh, Holden smokes. Holden drinks. And he will spend a lot of time during this long weekend smoking and drinking, actually. And he won't sleep much either, and that's important. Okay, but Holden is a decent kid, and he does some things very well. He writes very well. Everyone says so. And he likes to write. And he helps other students write their papers and things like that. He dances well, we'll see. And he's a very good golfer. Holden's parents obviously have money. They live in Manhattan. Dad is a company lawyer, a corporate lawyer. Money is no problem. Okay. Then the rest of the book is a series of encounters Holden with various people. Oh, comically, Holden had been the manager of the fencing club. Now, any school that has a fencing club is an elite school. I doubt that any of the schools anymore, I doubt that Choate has a fencing school. But in 1950, you can be pretty sure Choate had a fencing school. And maybe, I wonder which ones have fencing schools. That'd be interesting. Fencing, Olympic sport after all. Excuse me. So many characters. But they had gone into New York City to have a fencing match with some school in New York City. Had ridden the subway, and Holden had left the foils, the fences, on the damn subway, as Holden would say. And everybody was angry with him, and so that he had some excuse, but it wasn't a good excuse, and he knew that. Very charming. Very charming. He's a boy, perfect 16-year-old kid, actually. Okay. Now, Jane Gallagher. I didn't even write her name down. Jane Gallagher. Her name comes up early. Okay, first of all, Holden's roommate is Ackerley. Ackerley is disgusting. He's physically disgusting. He never brushes his teeth. For years he has not brushed his teeth. So that dentally his mouth is disgusting. He never cleans himself. He picks his pimples openly. He makes no attempt to hide how disgusting he is.